Kithure Kindiki, he did say, and he assured Kenyans that the police will remain neutral but firm. But earlier on, we saw the protesters here in Nairobi saying, you know what, they're not relenting on their quest. They want the entire Finance Bill 2024 rejected in totality, and they will continue pressing on. They have a mission, and they have to, get to the end of that particular mission. And they did mention and continue chanting while carrying placards with various messages towards the government. As you can see, that is, I believe, Kimathi Street here in the Nairobi CBD. The streets are empty. You're just seeing clouds of smoke, tear gas there, engulfing the entire vicinity. That is the CBD around that particular street, which I believe is Kimathi Street. There you can see another group forming after that tear gas has cleared. And of course, they have a message, but you can see on your screen different protests from different parts of this country, from Mombasa, Nairobi, Nyeri, Nakuru. We also had from Kakamega. This is the situation on the ground. And of course, at the bottom of your screen, the bottom left, we're seeing the live proceedings in Parliament. Remember, the Finance Bill 2024 is at the committee stage, where amendments are meant to be considered and voted on a clause-by-clause basis by members of the National Assembly. Now, this follows that vote that happened on Thursday, where we saw 204 members of Parliament vote yes for the Finance Bill, while 115 voted against that Finance Bill 2024. Now, should the government yield to public pressure, then members of Parliament can decide to toss out the bill by deferring or calling off its third reading after the committee stage through a simple majority vote. Of course, that is if they yield to pressure. But as you've seen from different, leaders during the weekend on social media accounts, they were still for the bill, saying, others are saying that they will get more CDF money allocation that will help them with development. And that is the reason as to why some of the members of Parliament are voting for the Finance Bill. But remember, that bill needs a majority vote at all the stages, including the crucial third reading level for final approval or rejection. And it is said that deferring a bill at the third reading stage is technically killing the bill, as it will take another 6 months to reintroduce it. If this happens, then it simply means that the Finance Bill, the government, if it is rejected, then the government can only reintroduce the bill after 6 months with new provisions, with which the standing orders say would be different from the submitted proposals. So if the MPs decide to go to this route, that is the way of rejecting this Finance Bill in totality, this will be the first time in the history of the country's legislative process that a bill of such kind is deferred. So we wait and see what exactly will come out of the National Assembly, even as we continue monitoring the situation on the ground. Live pictures on your screen from Nyeri, from Nakuru, Mombasa, and equally Kakamega, where we spoke to Alan Ochanda earlier on. And particularly in Kakamega, the situation was calm. At that particular point, we heard from one of the protesters, and they were saying that, it's still early, they're still mobilizing, and the youth will be coming to the street. Let's just listen into what exactly is happening in Mombasa. I can see chants are happening. Let's listen into what exactly they're saying. right, those are live pictures on your screen from Mombasa, Nairobi, Nakuru, and of course earlier on we saw pictures in Nyeri. As you can see there in Nairobi, tear gas being lobbed towards, the gathering crowd, trying to disperse them. Earlier on, we did see a tear gas that was lobbed towards, and it went inside a public transportation vehicle. And we saw there, some of those public, some of the citizens trying to get away, from the tear gas that was inside that particular public transportation, and we saw them coming out of the windows, and we saw the Gen Z, the ones who are protesting, go to their aid, and they continue with their message that they are peaceful. They just want their voice heard by the members of parliament. They want the members of parliament to reject the Finance Bill 2024 in totality. As we've heard, chants of anti-government being, chanted by these protesters. You can see their live pictures in Mombasa. Crowds, hundreds and thousands, even if I may dare say so. And of course, we've never seen protests of such magnitude, especially protests that have been organized online by this young generation that is being dubbed as Gen Z. And they are saying that, you can see live pictures, they're saying that they have to fight for their right. They have to fight for their future of the country. As you can see, their live pictures in Nairobi, tear gas being lobbed towards those protesting. And you can see there are clouds of, smoke coming out of those tear gas canisters that are being lobbed towards those gathering. But it's interesting to note about this entire protest that we saw, the mobilization that started last week, and we saw protests from Tuesday going on to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and of course on Saturday we did see that generation and thousands of Kenyans across the country join in the singing of patriotic songs in nightclubs. As soon as the clock ticked midnight, they were calling it the reject hour. All this was part of the anti-finance bill 2024 demonstration, which kicked off last week, of course. And during that reject hour that was dubbed by the protesters, we saw nightclubs and, entertainment joints observe 10-minute protest sessions, some singing protest songs, others singing the national anthem and making chants of anti-government. As you can see there, live pictures in Nairobi, the crowd is gathering. It's getting bigger, as well as in Mombasa and in Nakuru, and as well as in Nyeri. We saw earlier on, the youth have turned out in numbers, thousands, if I can say so. As you can see there, they're running from the tear gas. But it's also good to note that particular Saturday where we saw the reject hour, we equally saw earlier 50,000 Kenyans join an X-space dedicated to the arrest and subsequent disappearance of several influencers thought to be leading the protests. It's equally good to note that we expect the Law Society of Kenya to be giving an address on that particular issues. We've been seeing abductions and arrests. And we've equally been seeing Gen Z come out in numbers with different hashtags, saying that we need to free these people. They are not sponsored as the government thinks. This is something that is coming based on what exactly is being felt on the ground by the people. The people are saying that, we are not employed. They're saying the high cost of living is high. They're equally saying corruption is a big issue in this country, as well as issues to deal with expenditure. They want the government to reduce expenditure. They want better management of public funds in the nation. So those are live pictures. This is the current situation. We have our reporters on the ground from different areas and different parts of this country monitoring these protests for you in a way only we can here on KTN News. Now, let's just remind our viewers and to those who are just joining us right now, we did see in Nairobi police block the different parts of, the areas surrounding Parliament here in Nairobi to ensure that protesters do not access Parliament buildings where that conversation, those live proceedings at the National Assembly are currently happening. Remember that Finance Bill 2024 is at the committee stage where amendments and, clause by clause will be considered.